Hello, 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 my little devil darlings. This is Penny the Angelic Sweetheart here, and welcome back to my podcast series called Paranormal Penny Doggone it, I had this planned out. Okay, try this again. Welcome back to Paranormal Penny Podcast. There we go. Jeez, why did I mess that up? Anyway, today we are going to be reading about and kind of learning about the infamous, one and only, Blood Countess herself, Elizabeth Bathory. Yeah, and I bet you guys probably heard of her already, but those of you that haven't, sit back, relax, and enjoy this podcast of me reading about her, and we'll voice our opinions at the end. Okay. Countess Elizabeth Bathory, I can't read that other part, was a wealthy and powerful Hungarian noblewoman, whose relations included an uncle who was king of Poland and a nephew who was prince of Transylvania. In 1610, she was accused of gruesome acts of serial murder and confined to her home at Castle something, I can't pronounce that word, where she remained until her death. Bathory is reputed to have killed at least 600 victims, earning her a Guinness World Record for most prolific female murderer. 600? Wow, that is a lot of people. Anyway, her actions resulted in a nickname of the Blood Countess, of course, and may have been a source of inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula. Oh, okay, anyway. However, it's possible Bathory was not guilty of all the crimes that have been laid at her feet. I doubt it. Okay. So, she was born in... I can't freaking read this. I can't pronounce these Hungarian names. Something Hungary on August 7th, 1560. At the age of 11, Bathory, who was considered beautiful and Bathory, who was considered a beautiful and well-educated girl, became engaged to Count Frederick Nadasti. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. Some accounts of her life include her giving birth to an illegitimate child fathered by another man before her marriage. Why would she get engaged at such a young freaking age? I really hope that she pedophile and freaking rape her. I mean, I'd probably go insane too. Oh, that's just disgusting. But anyway, when she was 15, Bathory married Nadasti. Whatever. On May 8th, 1575. The couple's first child was born 10 years later. In 1585, Bathory gave birth to 5 children. 2 died as infants, but 2 daughters and a son survived. Okay. As her husband was a soldier who was often fighting Ottoman Turks, the couple spent most of their marriage apart. However, he may have schooled her in techniques of torture when they were together. After Nadasti died in January 1604, Bathory took control of her extensive estates. Okay. She was accused of a haunting litany of crimes against both female servants and minor noble women who'd come to her for training and education. Most of her alleged assaults and murders took place after she was widowed in 1604. Some of Bathory's victims were covered with honey and left outside for insects to devour. During colder parts of the year, young women might be stripped naked into deadly ice baths, okay? Bathory sometimes tortured girls by driving nails into their fingers, cutting their noses or lips, or whipping them with stinging needles. She would bite shoulders and breasts, as well as burning the flesh, including the genitals of some victims. The intimate nature of Bathory's attacks suggests a sexual motivation, though it's impossible to know with certainty what compelled her to act. Okay. There really is some fucked up people. I mean, she obviously was very fucked up. But I honestly doubt it was for sexual motivation or something. Or anything like that. I think it was just because she was insane and she just did it because she wanted to. Anyway, depictions of her murder, depictions of often her bathing in the blood of victims in an attempt to recapture her lost youth. However, this depraved action is backed up by something witness accounts, which otherwise didn't shy away from gore. The first mention of Bathory's bloodbaths came 100 years later after her death, and thus seems to be an invention. Oh no. Alright. On December 29th, 1610, Count, I'll just call him GT for short because I can't pronounce that name, who oversaw judicial matters as the Lord Palatine of Hungary, arrived at Bathory's castle something to investigate the Countess's alleged crimes against women of noble youth. He reportedly surprised Bathory in the middle of tormenting a victim in response immediately imprisoned her in her home. Her high status was meant to... Okay. Wait, what? Her high status was not meant she would not be jailed as a common criminal. That is bullshit, if you ask me. She deserves to be thrown in jail for what she's done. Like, seriously. Anyway, I guess that's how it was back then. 4 of her servants, 3 females and 1 male, were then arrested, questioned, and subjected to torture. Their court proceedings, began early in January 1611. These servants denied their culpability in the murders, but admitted to burying multiple victims, though the number of their accounts varied between 36 and 51. Oh. In addition to shifting blame to their mistress and each other, they also implicated a deceased servant, Darvulia, I think it's how you pronounce it, Darvulia, who'd served as a maid and governess. 2 of the women and the male servant were sentenced to death, which was quickly carried out. The 4th was spared immediate execution. What happened to her afterward is unknown. Another woman who supposedly used magic to aid Bathory was also killed. After these executions, T, which I can't freaking pronounce the name, continued to investigate the Countess. One witness stated that Bathory herself had listed 650 victims in her papers. Though the number of victims varied, other testimonials in the Countess's death roll remains unknown. The evidence gathered by T also included 289 witness statements. Jeez. 600 people. As a member of a powerful family, Bathory was not put on trial. Instead, she was isolated, perhaps walled up in Castle's where she remained until her death in 1614. As she was not convicted of a crime, Bathory's holdings passed to family members instead of being seized. Really, she should have been put on trial and actually put in jail for what she's done. That is the worst punishment ever, in my opinion. Okay. The evidence against Bathory has flaws of 289 witness accounts. More than 250 offered either hearsay or no information whatsoever. The testimony that Bathory had listed 650 victims was a second-hand accounting of what a court official had discovered. Excuse me. Yet the official who supposedly seen this information didn't testify. Many of the witnesses who spoke against Bathory were beholden to T, who oversaw the entire investigation. And the fact that Bathory's servants were tortured makes their confessions unreliable. Why might Bathory have been subjected to outside I can't pronounce that word. Imprisonment allowed family members to take control of the powerful widow's possessions. Her sons-in-law knew beforehand that her arrest was coming. What? The Habsburg court owed her money they didn't want to pay, and Bathory's support of her nephew, Prince Bathory of Transylvania, who was in conflict with the ruling Habsburgs, potentially placed her in danger. Okay. However, it's likely Bathory was completely innocent. I doubt it. In 1602, a priest wrote a letter that discussed the excessive cruelty exhibited by Bathory and her husbands towards their servants. The testimony against Bathory could have included true tales about how harshly she acted with lower classes. Such acts weren't illegal at the time. Bathory was only punished because her victims were said to have included noble women, but would still make Bathory responsible for many ruined lives. The body of a 54-year-old Bathory was found on August 21st, 1614, in Castle something, located in present-day Slovakia, where she'd been in prison since 1610. She was initially buried in the crypt on her estate, but her body was likely moved afterward. Okay, well, that was interesting, but what did she do to kill them? I probably am going to regret looking up what she did. Okay. Exposed. On December, Bathory, let's just explain the situation again. I don't want to read the whole thing all over again. Okay. History.com. Okay. What did she do to her victims? Go away. Okay. Bathory's torture included jamming pins and needles under the... Oh, duh! And tying them down, smearing them with honey. They just told me, and I didn't pay attention. Although the Count participated in his wife's cruelties, he may have also restrained her impulses. When he died, she became much worse with the help of a former nurse, and local, Bathory began abducting peasant girls to torture and kill. She often bit chunks of flesh from the victims, and one unfortunate girl was even forced to cook and eat her own flesh. Bathory reportedly believed that human blood would keep her... Ugh. Since her family... Okay, it literally just told me what she did to her female victims. Okay. But that's too freaking short. Let's go ahead and look for another person to talk about. So yeah. Oh, okay. I forget it. Alright. Okay, I found another famous serial killer named Belle Gunness. Or Gunness. Nah, I'm gonna say Gunness. Okay, she was a serial killer who has killed more than 40 people between 1884 and 1908 before disappearing without a trace. Okay. Belle Gunness was born in Brynhild I can't pronounce those words. On November 11th, 1859, in Selbu, Norway. Okay, so she's Norwegian. Okay. The daughter of a stonemason, Gunness immigrated to the United States in 1881 in search of wealth. What followed were a series of insurance frauds and crimes escalating in size and danger. Not long after Gunness married Mads Albert Sorensen in 1884, their store and home mysteriously burned down. The couple claimed the insurance money for both. Soon after, Sorensen died of heart failure on the one day his two life insurance policies overlapped. Okay. Though her husband's family demanded an inquiry, no charges were filed. It is believed the couple produced two children whom Gunness poisoned in fancy for the insurance money. Wow. Okay. Several more unexplained deaths followed, including the infant daughter of her new husband, Peter Gunness, followed by Peter Gunness himself. Her adopted daughter Jenny's body would also be found on Belle's property. Gunness then began meeting wealthy men through a lovelorn column. Her suitors were her next victims, each of whom brought cash to her farm, then disappeared forever. John Moo, Henry Gerhold, Olaf Sven Herud, I think, Ollie B. Budsberg. Oh, there's two Olafs. Olaf Lindblom, Andrew Hageline, just to name just a few. Why are so many names hard to freaking... Ugh. In 1908, just when I don't know how to pronounce his name, brother became suspicious of Gunness's luck seemed to... Okay, do that again. In 1908, just when someone's brother became suspicious and Gunness's luck seemed to be running out, her farmhouse burned to the ground. In the smoldering ruins, workmen discovered 4 skeletons. 3 were identified as her foster children, however, the fourth believed to be Gunness, was inexplicably missing its skull. After the fire, her victims were unearthed from the shallow graves around the farm. All told, the remains of more than 40 men and children were exhumed. Oh my gosh. Ray Lamphere, Gunness's hired hand, was arrested for murder and arson on May 22nd, 1908. He was found guilty of arson but cleared of murder. He died in prison, but not before revealing the truth about Belle Gunness and her crimes, including burning her own house down. The body that was recovered was not hers. Gunness planned the entire thing and skipped town after withdrawing most of her money from her bank accounts. She was never tracked down, and her death has never been confirmed. wow. That's gotta be one of my biggest fears. Like, somebody can be killed, and the murderer might never get arrested. They'd freaking get away with it. Oh my flippin' gosh. Oh, I hate the thought of the killer not getting what he or she deserves. I hate it. Literally. It's just inhumane. And the fact that she disappeared without a trace, and it's not even known whether she's dead or alive. Probably dead. But wow. I hate it when some killers just don't get arrested. First, we have a freaking crazy countess who killed multiple women, like 600 victims, over 600, and her punishment was just house arrest. And a freaking insane woman that's Norwegian who moved to America and killed 40 people, a lot less people than Bathory murdered, just disappeared without a trace. All of her sins left unpunished. Just wow. That's really hard to believe. Just freaking wow. But makes me wonder what she did to her victims, but then again, it's probably best that I don't know. Well, there you guys go. I'm gonna end this podcast right now with, just saying goodbye, and I was just gonna talk about Bathory today, but the video would have been, the podcast would have been too short. So I hope you guys enjoyed learning about 2 female killers, and if you guys would like me to talk about / read about more famous serial killers, and if you guys want me to talk about other things with another friend or whatever, let me know in the comments below. Tweet me and follow all my other social medias, and I will see you all next week. Stay creative!